Hello, I'm Grace Peters, a Program Associate at Smile Train. I'm happy to welcome you to the second video of a Smile Train web series, Cleft Community Advisory Council in Conversation. The CCAC is a group of dedicated volunteers who help advance Smile Train's goals by serving in an advisory role. Three of our CCAC members, Ashley Barbour, Amy Wilde, and Christine Errico, have joined us in order to discuss their personal experiences with cleft. Thank you, Ashley, Amy, and Christine, for sharing your stories with the larger Smile Train Cleft community. And now I'd like to introduce our panelists, Amy, Ashley, and Christine. Hi, everyone. To kick us off, I would like each of you to introduce yourselves. Amy, we'll start off with you.
I was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate, and about 9 years ago, I decided to write a book about my experience. I did not want anybody to know the deepest fears and the most vulnerable moments, but what I found is that even as recent as a week ago, I had a lady reach out to me who said that she had a little girl who's 2 months old and that she wants to know if it's all going to be okay. That's my biggest passion with this particular group.
Awesome, thank you. Christine, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Christine, and I live in Gainesville, Florida. I was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate, and I got involved with Smile Train about 2 years ago. I love serving on the CCAC. I love giving back to the community and just helping others know that there's support out there and that they're not alone for having a cleft lip and palate, and that there's others that have been through what they are going through. By day, I'm an accounting professor. I teach college accounting, and I'm also a private tutor. And in my spare time, I love to read to children with my therapy dog, Karma. We actually go to the library, and the children read to him.
Awesome, thank you. And last, Ashley.
Hey, my name is Ashley Barbour. I live in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and I work as a teacher consultant for students who are deaf or hard of hearing. I was also born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. And I, about, I don't know how many years ago, 5 years ago, I had this sort of serendipitous thing happen where I ran into a mom and her baby, and the baby hadn't had his cleft treated yet. And it sort of like changed the course of my life. And so it was then that I started writing about my life and my experiences as a person who was born with a cleft. And so I've really enjoyed doing that. And then this is also my third year being on the Cleft Community Advisory Council with Smile Train, and I really enjoyed being able to support that group too.
Awesome, thank you all so much. Now going into our second question, looking back on your own personal journeys, what is something that you wish more people understood about having cleft? And Ashley, we can start off with you.
So there are quite a few things that I wish more people understood. The first is I wish people understood that clefts are not an easy fix. It's not a one and done procedure. They often require multiple surgeries, orthodontics, speech therapy, and sometimes countless other things. I wish people understood how much parents fall in love with their cleft affected baby's face before surgery, and understood that many actually mourn the loss of that face when the initial lip repair occurs. And then I also wish more people understood how lonely it can feel when you don't see other people regularly who look like you. When I was growing up, I only met a couple of people who were born with clefts, and I didn't realize how much I craved seeing and being with people who looked like me until I experienced it as an adult. And it was really powerful to realize that I'm not alone in the world. And then lastly, I wish more people understood that while there can definitely be challenges and pain, the cleft journey is also really beautiful. It allows for the celebration of really small milestones, things like the first time you're able to blow up a balloon, or the first time you're able to suck out of a straw. And this cleft journey shows people a strength that I think they might not have realized that they had otherwise. And it allows you to find beauty in differences. And I think that's really special.
Thank you. I love the like the celebration of small milestones. I remember my first time being able to whistle. I practiced for so long, and I was finally like, yes, I can do it. So thank you. Amy, you're up next.
Yeah, I echo what Ashley beautifully said. And I think speech is such a big part of it too. For many of us, people think it's more of a cosmetic, but I wish people understood that speech, even now in my 40s, I still have to work on my articulation and my enunciation and really focus on that. Oftentimes I'll be in a drive-through and they won't understand me, and I make a joke out of it, and it's comical to my kids, but it is ongoing, so it never quite leaves you. The other thing I would like people to understand is that you don't ever get to escape your face. No matter if you're born with a cleft or not, you don't ever get to trade it in for a new face. And you can't lose weight and get a new face like you can with hips and thighs. And you have to really come to a very vulnerable place with yourself that it is what it is. And there have been times I've covered my lips with makeup and drawn perfect lips and just to see what it looks like. But my dad taught me long ago that contrast is our best teacher. Good days, bad days. And when I look at my face, I see a face of contrast and of the hardest of hard days and the most beautiful of joyous days. And there is so much to learn by having a challenge that you cannot ever quite get rid of. It becomes part of your DNA and who you are. And I'm super proud of these red lips.
Thank you, Amy. And ask Christine.
Yes, I think one of the biggest things is that the challenges and the obstacles never end. They're always with you throughout your whole life. It's not a point where and that's it, you're fixed and done. There is always something going on, whether it's continual speech therapy, whether it's dental work we done, the new bridge work or implants or something, or it's a new issue for me. About 4 years ago, it was tissue and having tubes in my ears when I was young, and now needing hearing aids. It was, it's just a number of things. It's the challenges that we face just ongoing as we continue to grow and mature and we change. It's a lifelong journey, and it's not just like you reach a point and it's done. I also want other people to know that just because we look differently, we're still strong. We're stronger than most inside because of what we've had to go through. We're very resilient, we're very determined, and we're very stubborn. We're not going to let anything take us down easily. And I think that's a lot of things that are often misperceived about us, is that we seem to be, because we have this, we're fragile. We're a lot stronger than we might be seen initially. And so that's really something that I would like everybody to always think about with us, is that don't underestimate our strength and our determination and our perseverance.
Those were really strong words. I love like perseverance and resilience. I think that's kind of in our blood, Yes. So our last question is, how do you think that fear can play into how families support their child with cleft? And do you have any advice about how parents can best support their child through issues that come up? Christine, we can start off with you.
Okay, this is a really great question. I think that fear can cause families to keep the child sheltered and even isolated. Families might be concerned about the child being bullied and mocked when they're especially young, especially in grade school. So they want to protect the child, even not maybe socializing them in preschool, elementary school. And I think the child feels that. They feel that there's something different about them. And that affects the child as they're growing up, because now they know that they're different. They know they look different, but now they're also feeling that they're being kept from other children without fully understanding why. And the parents are just afraid of having the child be hurt, being bullied, and being made fun of. I know that we've all experienced it, and as painful and hurtful as it has been, it's helped make us where we are today, give us experiences that we can draw on and share. Another way that I think that fear can, affect, or how it can play and how families can help support the children, is keeping the children from getting the medical support that they need. If the family is afraid that the child is going to be in a lot of pain from the surgeries and the dental work, they might want to protect the child in that regard, and that'll only hurt the child in the long run. So that's one of the things that I have to say about that I think that fear can really control how the child develops and how they can blossom into a beautiful person.
Awesome. Thank you.
And was there another part of the question? Or?
Oh, nope, you answered it all. That was perfect. Thank you. And next, Ashley.
So when parents first find out that they are expecting a baby who is going to be born with a cleft, fear is one of the emotions that's one of the most commonly experienced feelings, I think, and it's super natural. Parents worry about all the different surgeries their child's going to have to go through and how their child is going to be accepted by the world. And I find that one of the most powerful gifts that a cleft-affected adult can provide is the knowledge that there's a light at the end of sometimes a seemingly very long tunnel, and that despite everything that we go through, cleft-affected people can and do live very productive, happy, beautiful lives. And as far as advice for parents and how to support, I think the best way that they can provide support for their child is simply to know them and figure out where they're at in this ever-changing journey. Everyone is different, and so are our journeys. There were times in my life when I didn't want to acknowledge my cleft or talk about it because I found it to be too painful, and now I talk about it very regularly. But what I think is important to remember and keep in mind is that one part on the journey isn't necessarily better or worse than another part. I've always coped the best I knew how with whatever skills I had, and that's okay. So my advice for parents is just know your child and love and support them through whatever part of their cleft journey that they're on.
Amazing, thank you. And last, Amy.
So fear is so interesting. It really is a chain reaction that starts with stress. And the thing about fear is that it feeds stagnation. So it makes us want to stand still and not do anything. But I think about my mom. My mom didn't know that I would be born with a cleft lip and palate. I mean, this is before ultrasounds. And when she saw me, she immediately just tucked me in her arms and hugged me tighter and loved me deeper. And she didn't for 1 second feel sorry for me. And she didn't feel sorry for her. But my grandpa, on the other hand, he was filled with fear. He was in the waiting room. My dad went and told him. And he was filled with so much fear that he went home and he wrote in his journal and he said, "Oh, what a shock. Oh, what a tragedy. I can't believe this has happened to my people." I'm like, wait, and it was such a contrast between the reaction that my mom had and the reaction that he had. Now, my grandpa became my biggest cheerleader. He loved me deeper and cheered me on harder than anybody else. But his initial fear was to keep me away from people. My grandma told me that she was always so surprised that my mom would take me out in public and not cover my face. That was, they feared what people would think of them. So my advice to parents is to not be stagnant. Do not feed the fear. Let your children be children. When my brother said to me once when I was, I must have been 6 or 7, and he said to me, I don't see anything different with your face. I just see my beautiful sister, Amy. And I'll never forget that because I felt normal. And that's what we want to feel, is we want that fear to be replaced with hope and be replaced with a sense of security and a sense of self.
Amazing, thank you. Before we wrap up, I'd just like to extend a big thank you to each of you for sharing your personal experiences with Cleft and for supporting Smile Train's cause. And we look forward to continuing these important conversations. So thank you so much.